Hi and welcome to Love Your Geek. I'm David, and on this episode we're going to be talking about two of my great passions, Star Trek and Christmas tree ornaments. Although to be more specific, we're going to be talking about the hallmark USS Enterprise tree topper, which is Star Trek Mirror collection. Now the reason they call it the Mirror collection is because it comes in multiple parts. You have the tree topper, you have Lieutenant Sulu and Captain Kirk. Later on in the year they are releasing a Lieutenant Uhura. Sadly she's not available yet, so we'll have to do an addendum to this video later on. Okay, so we're about to cut over to a video of me taking this out of the box, setting it up and playing it. Now, how I'm going to do it is I'm going to do the figures on their own so you can see, because you purchase them separately, so you should get to see what they are separately. Then you get to see the tree topper on its own and what it does singularly, and then I'll do a video of them all together interconnected and working, so you get to see the whole thing. Okay, so see you in however long that video takes to shoot.
Enterprise. Transporter room energized. Now you're making sense. Captain's log, stardate unknown. During an ion storm, my landing party is beamed back to the Enterprise and found it and the personnel aboard changed. The ship is subtly altered physically. Behavior and discipline has become brutal, savage. Yes, here. Not our universe, not our ship. Something parallel. Everything's duplicated. Almost. Another Enterprise? Spock with a beard?
Mr. Chekhov, laser setting for planetary target A. Port batteries locked? Still no interest, Uhura. I could change your mind. My security boards detected extensive use of computer, Mr. Spock. I was about to inform you. It's not hard to guess the nature of your order from Starfleet Command. I suggest a connection. The captain suspects he's working on escape or defense. I hope you succeed, because the order would fall on me next. And you know how Captain Kirk's enemies have a habit of disappearing.
Uhura, keep Sulu's attention off that board.
Okay, so here goes the unboxing.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Enterprise. Transporter room energized. Captain's log, stardate unknown. During an ion storm, my landing party is beamed back to the Enterprise and found it and the personnel aboard changed. The ship is subtly altered physically. Behavior and discipline has become brutal, savage.
Mr. Chekhov, laser setting for planetary target A. Port batteries locked. Still no interest to her. I could change your mind.
Computer. Ready. Produce all data relevant to the recent ion storm. Correlate following hypothesis. Could conditions necessary to such an event be created artificially using the ship's power? Affirmative. Scotty, can you do it?
My security boards detected extensive use of computer, Mr. Spock. I was about to inform you. It's not hard to guess the nature of your order from Starfleet Command. I suggest a connection. The captain suspects he's working on escape or defense. I hope you succeed, because the order would fall on me next. And you know how Captain Kirk's enemies have a habit of disappearing.
Okay, and welcome back. So, that was quite impressive. The Enterprise with the lights and the Delta lit up and the music. Oh, the music. It's a great thing. So, during those videos, I didn't talk. I just showed them operational. So, let's review them now. Let's go with Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk in that fantastic pose, that so mirror, and I love the fact they did it in the reflective gold paint, and so much about this is very, very cool. The things that aren't very cool are, I don't feel it's $35, and independently of working as part of the collection, it doesn't do that much on its own. So that's a negative point. I've also taken a couple of close-up pictures which should be coming up that side so you can see what I mean, because his face isn't quite right. The detailing, it's just not what I would have expected from a $35 ornament. You know, I'm a big fan of Hallmark, and not just their Star Trek range, although I have almost their entire Star Trek range. I'm missing a handful of the San Diego Comic Con ones, because in the UK they are prohibitively expensive to get hold of. I realise in America they're still expensive to get hold of, but additionally you have shipping and you've got custom tax and a few other things which makes it harder for us in the UK to get them. So very hard to score the figure, because independently on its own, definitely not $35 worth. But connected up and fully functional, and I'm sure that when it's on a tree at a different height to the tree topper, and you've got the audio coming from both, I'm going to really enjoy that. But at the moment, this is only a 7 out of 10. If it was cheaper, I'd probably feel better about it. But at that price, I think that's a fair score. Now, the Sulu. This is just a great pose. It really is. And it's a nice figure. The detailing is approximately the same. You know, I can't say much more about it than that. And all the arguments that made that figure good apply to this one. All the things that made it bad, guess what? It's the same. So it's scoring the same. Although I have to say, I really hope I get to talk to him in person about this, because he loves talking about the merchandise and bits and pieces that are done of him. And I'll be very interested to hear what he thinks of this one. So let's get on to the big one, shall we? The Enterprise. Let's start with the remote. So it's a nice feature that they made that a true ornament piece itself, but you can't tell when the batteries are dead. Well, I presume you can, because you won't be able to trigger the ornament from working, but there's no light, no indicator. I think this would have been nice if they'd have done the same Delta plastic on the inside to match the tree topper, so it lit up when you push the button. But, you know, it's a remote control. They evidently didn't feel that was important. This is a really nice fixture piece for the tree topper. I must admit, it wasn't actually something I thought about. You know, I saw the pictures of it as a tree topper, and it never actually occurred to me how, because the triangular base, I just figured the tree would, you know, hold it in place, and you'd have to figure a way of keeping it on. So the fact that it comes with a steady, well, it's a stick, but they probably got some fancy name for it. The fact that it's double-sided Velcro attached to it so you can loop it through. That, as silly as it sounds, that one little thing really is a big plus side for the ornament, because it means that it holds as an ornament. And the ornament itself. Right, so really cool the way they lit it up. I love the way they lit it up from underneath when that's on top of the tree, and you see all the bits light up and the Delta light up and that music when it hits. That is going to be awesome. Not massively Christmassy, although it obviously fills my heart with joy hearing the intro tune. It would have been nice if maybe they'd have give it a Christmas thing as well. Maybe like a remix of the opening sleigh bells and things. I don't know, but I think maybe they should have experimented and done something. But I've always wanted a Star Trek tree topper. For many years I've used a Star Trek 5 ornament that was cardboard, that was used in shops to advertise advertised Star Trek 5 when it came out. It's the Delta and an independent star. So the fact that I've now got an actual official proper product, I'm really thrilled about that. I love the sound quality, the volume is good, the lights are fantastic. The detailing on the ship is a little underwhelming. At $150, I expected more detail, to be brutally honest. And there's another thing. And this is going to sound like it's me being really picky. I'm not being really picky. I'm really not. Love the Enterprise. Love this as a tree topper. And technically, in the beginning of the episode, this was the Enterprise. And at the end of the episode, this was the Enterprise. But throughout the bulk of the episode, it's the wrong Enterprise. It says Mirror Mirror Collection. This should be the Mirror Mirror Enterprise. I know why it's not. And you know why it's not. Because they wanted to sell it as a Star Trek one, and maybe they felt that if they had the ISS Enterprise on it, fewer people would have purchased it. Where people are just going to purchase it because it's the Enterprise. And they're right. I didn't really care, but I did know that going into it, that it wasn't the ISS Enterprise. But it's one of those things. Maybe if they'd have put a sticker set in it, a decal set in it, so you could have changed it, or you could have made that decision yourself, that would have been a nice touch. But they went in a different direction, so fair enough. So, not as detailed as the Diamond Select one, but more detailed than the Playmate. Somewhere in between. It's a nice rendition of the ship. It feels good. I don't want to drop it, but it feels sturdy. $150 seems a little steep, but works really well. Has a button on the top so that if you can't find the remote, or the remote is out of power, you can activate it. That's a nice feature. There's lots about this I really do like. Now, one of the other things you need to know about this particular model is that it comes with a power adapter. It is an American power adapter. Whichever country you're in, I'm sure you can switch it for a power converter in your own country. I personally didn't. I ran it from the American one using a phase adapter to change my power over to theirs. So, yeah, it works. However, it should be said that the little figures also need a power adapter that they don't come with. They use the Hallmark power cord. Now, this is not what I thought it was going to be. For the last 5 to 10 years in the UK, we have been phasing out traditional Christmas tree lights over towards LEDs. So much so that 2 years ago, when I went to go get a string of the old-fashioned bulb Christmas tree lights, I was unable to purchase a new one. I had to get some second hand. I did manage to find some new sets in other countries. So not impossible to get, but getting really hard. Now, all of the older Star Trek Christmas tree ornaments used to use that, then they switched them over to using batteries. Now they use a power cord. So I thought the power cord would simply be like a set of lights, maybe with a slightly different adapter to connect those into. It isn't. It is basically little power adapters running off a big power adapter. Now, I should have known that because they've been using it for a while for some of their ornaments that spin round and play music and bits and pieces, but none of those are in collections that I keep. I collect lots of other Hallmark ones, like the Batman and the DC, and I even have some of the Star Wars ones. So, but I wasn't aware of that. So if you're going to go for the little figures independently, You have to have the power you have to have the power cord for them to run. You can get independent power adapters to run them, but it's not recommended. And for the, I think it's $15. Let me just double check. Okay, it's $12. For the $12 that costs, it's definitely worth getting. Although I do appreciate if you're in other countries, like, I don't know, England, they are harder to get. But it's definitely worth having it, just for peace of mind that you're not going to damage the actual items. So, I didn't actually score the Enterprise. Let's get back to that bad boy. So, lots about this are great. Technically, I should give it a 10 straight out of the box, because it's a tree topper and it lights up in... Okay, I love tacky. So the lights underneath doing that, to me, is really tacky, but the good side of tacky. So it should really be a 10. But it's $150. And that's a smidge much when you don't know what else it's going to do. You don't know if they're going to release other figures for it. You don't know if it's going to interconnect with other ranges. They've not told us anything about this. There's no information in the box. The 3 LEDs they put in the Buzzard Ram scoops to light it up are all the same colour. So although it looks like it rotates a little bit, if they'd have just changed one or of the LEDs, they could have had a nice rotation colour. I feel that was a real opportunity missed. There's a couple of opportunities missed with this, and because of that, I've got to downgrade it to an 8, which is a shame. I was really hoping that for my first Love Your Geek, it would be 10s across the board, and it just isn't. But it is a fantastic piece, and it is wonderful, and there'll be an addendum later on in the year with it actually on a tree, and maybe I'll alter my score then. I have altered my scores over the years on some of the other channels that I've done videos for, because I feel one way at the time, then I'll feel another way on reflection, and sometimes even bounce back. Who knows? I guess we'll find out later on in the year. Right, so those are all my thoughts thus far. I'd love to read some of yours, so please leave them in the comment section below. And while you're there, please take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hello. And on the next episode of Love Your Geek, we have a fascinating review of not one but 2 fantastic products, Kirk and Spock, both brought to you by the wonderful company The Coop. I hope you'll come join me.